Ubuntu.
Prayers.
A reading from the Word of God, written in Paul's letter to the Romans, chapter 13, beginning at the first verse. Let every person be subject to governing authorities, for there is no authority except from God, and those authorities that exist have been instituted by God. Therefore, whoever resists authority resists what God has appointed, and those who resist will incur judgment. For rules are not a terror to good conduct, but to bad. Do you wish to have no fear of the authority? Then do what is good, and you will receive its approval. For it is God's servant for your good. But if you do what is wrong, you should be afraid, for the authority does not bear the sword in vain. It is a servant of God to execute wrath on the wrongdoer. Therefore, one must be subject not only because of wrath, but also because of conscience. For the same reason you also pay taxes, for the authorities are God's servant, busy with this very thing. Pay to all what is due to them. Taxes to whom taxes are due, revenue to whom revenue is due, respect to whom respect is due, honor to whom honor is due. Thanks be to God. Let us pray. In the name of God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. Amen. Dear God and Father, we give you thanks for every public servant involved in governing our country. Help them to see that they are your servants first and foremost. And please empower us as citizens of this country to give them the respect due their office, whether or not we agree with their position. Give our leaders grace to do justly, love mercifully, and walk humbly before you in all integrity. May they defend the oppressed, protect the virtuous, and discipline the wrongdoers. Kindly give them to enact laws and regulations that foster an environment where citizens can flourish spiritually, socially, and physically. I ask a blessing on all the legislators as they assemble in this culture center this afternoon, and a special blessing on our Honored Premier and Finance Minister as he delivers the budget speech. I pray, dear Lord, that you grant him the wisdom, the strength, and courage to present the budget 2019. Bless all those who will be listening to the speech by radio and those by the World Wide Web. And bless all of us to your service as we continue to labor in your vineyard, both as legislators and citizens of this country, through Jesus Christ our Lord. And as our Savior taught us, so we pray. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come. Your will be done on earth as in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen and amen.
Good afternoon, members. I recognize the Honorable Premier.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I'd like to move a motion for the amendment to the order paper by moving item A8 to item 4, and that the other items will follow accordingly. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
I recognize the Honorable Minister of Education, Health, Social Services.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to second the motion for the amendment of the order paper to move item 8A to item number 4, and the other items follow. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable members, it has been moved and seconded that the order paper be amended as indicated. All those in favor, please say aye. Those against say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. The order paper will be amended.
Confirmation of minutes.
Honorable members, you have, it's been circulated to you. You should have seen the minutes number 9 of 2018, dated Tuesday, 18th December 2018. They are to be confirmed. If there are no amendments, will someone please move that they be? I recognize the Honourable Minister of Education, Health, Social Services.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to move a motion for the confirmation of minutes number 9 of 2018, dated Tuesday, 18 December 2018.
Thank you. I recognize the Honourable Minister of Communications, Works and Labour.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to second the motion for the confirmation of the minutes. Minutes number 9 of 2018, dated Tuesday, 18 December 2018.
Thank you. Honourable members, it has been moved and seconded that the minutes number 9 of 2018, dated Tuesday, 18 December 2018, be confirmed. Those in favour, please say aye. Those against say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. The minutes are confirmed.
Papers to be laid on the table.
I recognize the Honourable Financial Secretary.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to the following SROs and documents on the table of this Honourable House, appearing under the name of the Financial Secretary. Paper 1, Budget Speech and Estimates of Expenditure and Revenue, 2019-2022. Document 2, Budget Performance and Outlook, Quarters 2 and 3, 1st of July 2018 to December 31st, 2018. 3. Government Montserrat End-of-Year Budget Performance Report, 4th quarter, 31st of March 2019. Number 4. Post-Implementation Benefits Audit on Pension Calculator 2014 to 2017. Number 5. Information Security Study of ExcoTrack, Cabinet Document Management Solution 2013 to 2016. Number 6. Report of the Auditor General on the audit of the public accounts of Montserrat, West Indies, and other selected activities for the fiscal year ended 31st of March 2018. And number 7, SRO number 3 of 2019, Customs Duties and Consumption Tax, M&B Minimart Exemption Order 2019. Thank you.
Motions.
I recognize the Honourable Premier.
Thank you again, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I move a motion for the first reading of the bill, Appropriation Bill 2019. Thank you.
I recognize the Honourable Minister of Education, Health, Social Services.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to second the motion for the first reading of the Appropriation Bill 2019.
Honourable members, it has been moved and seconded that there be a first reading and introduction of the Appropriation Bill 2019. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. The bill will now be read the first time and introduced.
Appropriation Bill 2019.
I recognize the Honourable Premier.
Thank you again, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to a motion for the second reading of the bill entitled the Appropriation Bill 2019-2020. Madam Speaker, a new era of transformation, a platform for progress. Madam Speaker, I begin by thanking Almighty God, from whom all blessings flow. I'm humbled and honored this afternoon to present to the Legislative Assembly the budget for the financial year 2019-2020. Today we will consider an historic budget, a budget which marks a milestone in the long journey to build strong and sustainable foundations for a better Montserrat and in our development partnership with the United Kingdom. Given the significance of the transformational projects in the budget, we now stand on the threshold of an era of growth and progress towards a robust future. We have strengthened our governance framework with financial management systems and controls that improve the trust and confidence in public spending. In that context, we are now seeking key infrastructure investments and interest by local and international investors that could open up further opportunities for a new Montserrat economy. Yes, Madam Speaker, despite what naysayers may say, through a hard inch-by-inch struggle over the past 4 years, we have taken Montserrat forward, moving from lacking a base for growth, from damaging governance challenges, and from consequent lack of room for jobs growth to one of optimism. For example, the upcoming Little Bay Breakwater and berth will bring better tourism and trade opportunities. The upcoming fiber optic projects opens up room for a digitally based sector. The new 250 kilowatt solar PV power plant points to a greener energy future. The new tourism strategy and economic growth strategy lay out a 10-year roadmap to take advantage of these opportunities. That is why projected growth in our economy for the year ahead is 3.2 to 3.5%. We are on the way to the growth targets outlined in our economic strategy. We have moved to a much more credible budget, which was critical to implementing the programs you, the people, have charged us to deliver. Estimates of recurrent and expenditure, revenue and expenditure for 2019-20 provide for a total of $137.77 million. This is a 4.81% increase over EC 132.73 million for fiscal year 2018-2019. On the capital side, there is EC 64.4 million to finance several key infrastructure projects that will open up the doorway for faster, self-sustaining growth of our economy in the years to come. Yes, the recurrent budget on the table before us today is $137,772,200 Eastern Caribbean dollars. The development budget is $64,399,400. And the total is therefore $202,171,600. Madam Speaker, let us pause to reflect on our journey over the past 30 years. But 2019 marks the 30th anniversary of Hurricane Hugo, which brought devastation to our shores on September 17, 1989. The storm raged over our island for 14 hours, causing damage to more than 90% of our buildings. Our hospital was destroyed, our electricity supply was cut off, our water supplies were compromised, our petroleum was rationed, and our communication channels with the outside world were extinguished. Added to that, we also faced a financial offshore banking scandal. Nonetheless, we set out on rebuilding, and that we did. Then just 6 years later, the Soufriere Hills volcano eruptions further compounded our tragedy with natural forces far beyond our control. The fabric of our economy was torn up, and our people were displaced, many being forced to leave our shores. We lost a lot of our capability. But whilst these forces may have changed our path, such disasters did not change our destiny. Our destiny is to become self-sufficient. Our destiny is to grow and thrive as a united people. Our destiny is to transform our economy for all who have the grace to live, work, visit, and invest here. That is why today I present a budget that is both the last budget of the session and the first budget of a new era. A budget that takes account of our years-long effort to strengthen our economic foundations while setting out a sound platform for the next phase, economic transformation. Inch by inch, uphill over the past several years, we have created a base for sustaining growth that will bring opportunities for our people. As we meet in the House today, we are looking to award a contract to install a seaborne fiber optics cable. This will open up better access for digital information and digital productivity in the emerging 5G and HTML5 artificial intelligence world. Likewise, over the next few weeks, the contractor for our breakwater and berth will be holding public presentations and consultations on the design. And even though we've had a challenge with a third geothermal well, we are moving forward with partners to develop geothermal electricity. As the local news has reported, we have just commissioned a 250 kilowatt solar PV power plant, which is 10% of our peak load. Also, a new director of tourism is in place to drive forward our new tourism strategy. Similarly, a new director for the Program Management Office is in place. The PMO will help us to build capacity, and it will help us to move forward the priority strategic projects in our development program. I am pleased also to announce in this budget today that the 30 million capital investment program for resilient economic growth, called the CIPREG, has not only been agreed with Her Majesty's government, but that funding streams are already active for a range of new project investments, as I will outline. Further still, significant investments are included in this package, including significant multi-million-pound commitments to build Montserrat's long-awaited hospital facility. We are about to launch the next phase of our social housing developments and the A01 road project. In addition, early in the 2018-2019 fiscal year, we signed off on the European Union Budget Support Program, which provides capital funding to the tune of 17.4 million euro, almost 52.2 million EC dollars, and a further 1 million euro, or EC 3 million, to fund our technical assistance requirements to support this capital program. These funds are provided under the EDF 11 program and will be used to finance projects over the next 3 years. Yes, the financial year 2018-2019 has been a year of breakthroughs. Through those breakthroughs, we are able to secure finances to fund the long-needed key transformational projects and programs that will build a platform for progress. These transformational investments will open up opportunities for our people. That transformation is already on the way, at sea, on land, and in the skies, signaling a renewed confidence from our development partners. At sea, our port development project continues to make significant progress as a keystone initiative for access, for trade, and for tourism. The environmental social impact assessment for this project is now complete, enabling the team to move forward with finalizing the design, on track to break ground early next year. On Friday this week, initial designs by Stantec will be presented to stakeholders for input. Also at sea, the subsea fiber optic project will knit Montserrat into the international fiber optic grid and provide a multitude of economic and social benefits. The procurement process for the installation, operation, and maintenance of the fiber optic link is nearly complete, based on the 4 bids that are received. This will open up the digital sector, enabling private sector-led growth through government investment. On land, Madam Speaker, we have implemented a number of key infrastructure projects this year, including road improvements, social housing, and the completion of the ZJB building. We are approaching agreement to embark upon phase 2 of the A01 road project, which will make our transport network more resilient and accessible. Our LED public lighting project will improve our street lighting and area coverage. We have also begun a new phase of our tourism development to bring new and returning visitors to our shores. This is supported by newly secured EU funding, 18.4 million euros. These funds will initiate development of the new Volcano Interpretive Center, improvements to our hiking trails and beach amenities, and the creation of new and improved visitor products. And in the skies, Madam Speaker, we have begun to harness the energy of the sun with our newly operational 250 kilowatt solar photovoltaic power project, providing a capacity of 10% of peak electricity load. We now plan to increase our solar capacity to 1 megawatt with battery storage capability. This is to be done by the end of this financial year. We are on our journey to transition from fossil fuel reliance to 100% renewable energy. These projects also build up our capability to work with green energy technologies, which are the wave of the future. When it comes to the skies, Madam Speaker, We will also be embarking upon a new phase of our airport improvement project, as well as moving forward with the installation of the new airport control tower. We will be proceeding with the runway resurfacing initiative, ensuring that we meet the highest standards of safety and compliance, and ensuring that our access agreements are able to support growth in our visitor economy. Also, we have agreed with ASI to provide nighttime medical evacuation flights and similar emergencies. Today, each and every member of Montserrat's family is called upon to join our transformation, to overcome the recent past, to embrace change, and with God's grace and guidance, step forward together into a new era of our destiny. We did not get here overnight. Inch by inch, we have been putting in place the foundation for Montserrat's future in a tough, uphill struggle. Madam Speaker, I will address the economic context, and we start with global trends. Madam Speaker, trends in leading economies such as the UK, Europe and the USA and China, as well as the outlook for the EC dollar zone and the wider Caribbean, are all relevant to Montserrat, especially through trade, tourism, investment, and the cost of energy. We therefore need to monitor such trends carefully if we are to plan effectively as a community, firms, and families. The slowing of the world's major economies, as suggested by many global analysts, could rapidly affect Montserrat and other economies of the ECCU, that's the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union, due to our tourism and trade relations. Also, DFID's aid budget is directly tied to the UK's GDP. So an economic slowdown there would put pressure on the UK government budget that supports 60% of our own recurrent budget, an even bigger proportion of our capital budget. This is one reason why it is always important for us to recognize that under the legal force of UN Charter Article 73, the UK's own policies and laws oblige Her Majesty's government to make Montserrat a priority on the UK's aid budget. From 2013, the UK has spent 0.7% of GDP on development aid. And in 2017, it spent £14.06 billion. That is also part of why it is so important that as a start, CIPREG, a 30 million long-term development project funding arrangement, is being put in place. Since the major global recession of 2008 to 2009, economic growth in advanced countries has been sluggish, including the major European economies. The UK, which has the world's 7th largest economy, is currently expected to grow at 1.2%, and the Eurozone at 1.3%. China, the world's largest economy, is also slowing down. Its economy grew 6.6% in 2018 and is now expected to grow 6.3% this year. The economic growth strategy in the US, the economic growth story in the US, although growing, the current expansion in the US has already been one of its longest since World War II. So, as a typical boom-bust business cycle is 8 to 11 years, a recession may be coming sooner or later. Madam Speaker, as the global economic center of gravity shifts towards Asia, the Western economies are struggling to support their social and economic order. As the global GDP contribution by the Western economies decline and grows in the Asian economies, that will have an ongoing implication for our region. That is a huge change that could directly affect our future tourism possibilities. Chinese and Indian tourists will find it more convenient to go to Thailand or to Australia or even to Hawaii than to fly halfway around the world to us here in the Caribbean. Madam Speaker, global trends help us to understand the signs of our times so that we may know what Montserrat should do. Then we must always act with accurate vision, courage, and confidence in God's protection, provision, and blessing. That is already obvious, and as we and the other overseas territories contemplate the recent Foreign Affairs Committee report and its points of divergence and friction. Obviously, we must not put all our economic eggs in the tourism basket. That's also a good reason why the fiber optic cable and linked vibrant digital sector are vital for Montserrat's future economy. As the digital and technology sectors become more global, having a digital connectivity is a must. Hence, we must help our youth prepare for an ever more digital world economy. The fiber optic cable is a first key step in that direction. Similarly, we must aim to feed ourselves from our own land and seas as much as we can. And we need a greater, more local energy base for our economy: solar, wind, and geothermal. Sorry, that was greener, more local energy base for our economy: solar, wind, and geothermal. Madam Speaker, the political uncertainty that surrounds Brexit poses further risks for Montserrat's economic growth and stability. Thankfully, as we already mentioned, such risks will be cushioned by the binding nature of the UK's obligations to Montserrat and other overseas territories under the UN Charter, Article 73. The UK's economic picture remains murky and uncertain as it departs from the EU. While the UK has taken some steps to offset economic challenges, such as the announcement of a fiscal stimulus package in 2019, the UK economy is on fragile grounds. For example, while the markets have to some extent built in the risk of a no-deal Brexit, the sterling may stumble as the UK and the world adjust to a post-EU Britain. The fluctuation of the pound sterling would have a direct impact on the budget of Montserrat. However, in the past, the UK has helped to cushion such impacts. We are working on strategies to reduce the impact of this type of risk. We are also working with our sister overseas territories on the way forward in regards to our post-Brexit relationship with the European Union. Brexit should not affect the current agreement between Montserrat and the European Union that extends to 2020. If Montserrat does lose access to the balance of the EU funds post-Brexit, we have already received a guarantee from the UK that they will match any lost allocation. On a more positive note, we rejoice with our sister CARICOM country, Guyana, as more and more oil is discovered there. We also recognize that modern economies are driven by energy. So it is good news that crude oil prices are expected to return to some level of stability during 2019 and in the future years, compared to what we saw in 2018. Over the past 12 months, the yardstick Brent crude oil has fluctuated between about US $50 to $90 per barrel. Currently, it's about US $70 to $75. Fuel price is important to Montserrat, as stable and moderate oil prices help to stabilize our economy, reduce inflation, and increase predictability in revenue and expenditure forecasts. Regional trends, Madam Speaker. Montserrat is part of the EC dollar zone. We are part of the ECCB, the CDB, the OECS, CARICOM, and the wider Caribbean. Economic, social, and policy trends in our region will directly affect us. We need to understand our region, even as we help to shape its future by building a better Montserrat and through being a part of regional institutions and bodies. So it is heartening to see that even while facing spiraling public debt, high unemployment, fiscal deficits, and climate change-related challenges, the Caribbean's economies are defying the odds and are predicted to yield a 2.1% rate of growth in 2019. The construction and tourism sectors are the main contributors to the growth achieved in the EC dollar zone, and those industries and sectors are expected to expand. Dominica will be the regional leader with a 9% growth as they continue to rebuild after the devastating storms that ravaged the island. Then Antigua and Barbuda and Guyana with 4.7% and 4.6% respectively. Regional governments face many of the same challenges we have here in Montserrat. We all have to build sources of growth that are robust enough to withstand uncertainties of the global economies. It is also clear that while tourism is our region's most competitive economic sector, we will have to find a way to ride the world's growing digital wave. We will have to find a way to ride the world's growing digital wave. That will require further education transformation here in Montserrat and across the region in coming years. As a yardstick, we can already see that in 2014, the UK replaced ICT with computing as a new subject for 5 to 15-year-old students, with an emphasis on developing ability to write computer programs. Looking ahead, we too will soon have to come together as a region to create a programming-based computing for all curriculum for our primary and secondary schools. As a region, we must not neglect agriculture, which allows us to feed ourselves in a healthy manner. We will always need construction. We must have strong banking and financial services sector, and we must find a way to achieve sustainable, inclusive, green economic growth while adequately protecting our environment from ridge to reef. Our own move towards a greener energy sector is part of a regional push. Our seaport improvement, installations of the new fiber optic cable, and tourism strategy are all connected to Antigua and to other sister Caribbean territories. Similarly, our money, the EC dollar, is a regional currency managed by a regional central bank, the ECCB. We have already begun to work with the ECCB and with the Barbados-based firm BIT to create a digital dollar. Yes, the government of Montserrat is launching a pilot project to test the use of the digital EC dollar right here on island. We must continue to build our regional partnerships, and we must continue to support our regional bodies as we share and shape a common economic space. Now we move to the local economy, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, 1 year from the passage of Hurricane Maria and Irma, Montserrat has regained some momentum in terms of growth, and the CIPREG 30 million capital program is now on the table as a basis for future growth. Onward momentum will mainly be due to the continued implementation of our capital program, especially the already highlighted catalytic infrastructure projects, such as the breakwater and berth, airport upgrades, fiber optic cable, and green power. We are also promoting greater ownership and improvement of air and sea access and the like. We have put on the table options including the proposal that we should own our own ferry, one that is well suited to our needs and to our seas. We are working towards putting in place a twin-otter aircraft, which will improve air access. It is positive news that growth ranging from 3.2% to 3.5% is expected for Montserrat during this financial year. This is a step towards our long-term vision that Montserrat is to achieve self-sustaining inclusive growth. That way, we will gradually move beyond dependence on budgetary aid over 10 to 20 years. Also, as our economy grows and creates opportunities, our people will be able to save, invest, start new businesses, and enjoy a better standard of living. This requires catalytic public investments: the seaport, the airport, the fiber optic cable, the hospital, socially provided housing, greener and more resilient electrical power supply, etc. Such public investments will then set a stage for the local and international investments that will open up private sector-led growth. A self-sustaining, robust, growing local economy will pay its own way through its tax base, providing adequate government revenue without overtaxing the economy. At the same time, such growth is not truly effective unless it benefits the people of Montserrat at large. That's why growth must be inclusive, and that is why we need to reach out to the vulnerable. Growth is expected to increase during the financial year, with even greater predicted future growth, as this year will be a bridging year between the end of the DFID-funded Infrastructure Priority Program and implementation of the new £30 million CIPREG 5-year capital program. Other projects will help to spur growth. These projects will include EU-funded projects across tourism, infrastructure, and energy sectors. The Economic Growth Strategy and Delivery Plan, which were put in place last year by my government, details the strides that Montserrat needs to take in order to achieve sustained economic growth of around 5% per annum over the next 10 years. Sectoral analysis, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the growth already experienced during 2018-2019's financial year is driven by the performance of the key economic driving sectors, namely construction, financial intermediation, mining and quarry, and agriculture. Despite public administration being, without a doubt, the largest sector contributing to the overall economic growth of Montserrat, it cannot carry our economy in the long term. That's why we have to move to private sector-led growth. Our mining and quarrying sector is a small industry, but it is a very crucial sector for the economy of Montserrat. The aggregate we produce in Montserrat is Montserrat's main exporting product to the neighboring Caribbean islands. Although the sector is susceptible to natural disaster and equipment loss and failure, growth is expected to be robust for the year ahead. The construction sector is another key sector for Montserrat. This will benefit from our capital investment program, and this will benefit a large number of persons in the economy who are dependent on it. Sorry, Madam Speaker. This will benefit a large number of persons in the economy who are dependent on it as their main source of income. Forecasts show substantial levels of growth over the upcoming years due to the size of the capital investment program. And we will always need somewhere to work and to live. So with a seaport, hospital, and housing to be built, this sector contributes to our long-term development. The agricultural sector is vital to Montserrat's future. We must strive to move towards locally grown foods as far as possible, as said before. The government of Montserrat will continue to provide assistance to local farmers and fishermen. This will provide incentives to stay in this vital sector. The hotels and restaurant sector is a proxy to judge the level of tourism activity. It saw growth particularly in the St. Patrick's Festival season, as a large influx of Montserratians and visitors arrived on island to patronize and partake in the festive events. We estimate that there were 4,300 visitors for the festival. Onward, the EU investment in tourism is expected to have a positive impact on the economy as a tourism strategy was recently completed. New ecotourism products will be developed, and e-marketing will commence this financial year. Tourism only accounts for 3% of our current GDP, but it has a huge scope for growth. For example, several neighboring islands have hundreds of thousands to over 1 million visitors each year. We have the new Pompeii, and we will build up cultural and natural heritage attractions to attract more visitors. Montserrat is therefore poised for a year of growth in 2019-2020. Over the years beyond, the task for government will be to help spark, stimulate, and accelerate economic growth, given our market opportunities and global trends. We propose to do this by increasing our tourism numbers, improving physical and digital access to Montserrat, rolling out a new capital program, promoting local food production, supporting and developing the mining sector through engagement with the private sector, and improving the business environment to promote enterprise culture. Madam Speaker, I speak to the Small Capital Asset Fund. The Small Capital Asset Fund provides an avenue for procuring ministries and departments critical operational assets under $250,000 EC dollars. It is a key way to finance government of Montserrat's assets. During the financial year 2018-2019, $1.8 million was allocated towards meeting the government of Montserrat's small capital needs. A fair allocation was made so that each ministry benefited from the funding. Assets bought through the SCAF ranged from vehicles to machines and equipment, and were directly aligned to the government of Montserrat's policy agenda. The Ministry of Education was the prime beneficiary this year, as they received equipment necessary to uphold the effective schools framework to which Montserrat subscribes. This financial year, the fund will have another $1.8 million EC dollars available. Through this allocation, government remains committed to supporting the various ministries and departments so that the productivity of government operations and services is not compromised. Madam Speaker, the budget overview and highlights. The budget is a main policy tool of government, but it must be guided by our national policy priorities. My administration set these out in 2015 as a policy agenda. These policies lead to policies and plans. These priorities lead to policies and plans under the Economic Growth Strategy, Food Security Strategy, Energy Policy, National ICT Policy, Education Development Plan, and Youth Sport Development Program Action Plan. I now wish to highlight a few strategic facets of our budget. Transport, infrastructure, and access development. Roads and bridges, Madam Speaker. Our transport and access network is the lifeblood of our economic growth and resilience. That is why physical infrastructure has been and continues to be a cornerstone of this administration's strategic focus. Our aim is to ensure that our physical infrastructure is resilient against natural disaster and climate change, that we can foster sustainable development and tourist growth while improving safe access to essential services. With a recurrent budget of EC 2.84 million in 2018-2019, we have made significant improvements to our network, including the reconstruction of the Cars Bay Bridge, improvements to the Virgin Island Road, and verge and drain maintenance across the entire road network. With EC 1.4 million capital investment from the Infrastructure Priority Program, we have successfully completed the Basis Roads realignment, improvement, and bridge construction. This provides an alternative access route to the north of the island and its facilities, including the hospital, seaport, and airport, in the event that the main road is blocked. This year, government will continue to invest in over $3 million on the road development. With support from the new DFID Capital Program, CIPREG, we will commence phase 2 of the A01 Road Improvement Project. This will improve the condition, width, and safety of key structures of our road network for those who live, work, and holiday in Montserrat, whilst also delivering the new ducting required for our fiber optic development. We are also committed to modernization of the vehicle licensing and registration system in the upcoming year, with machine-readable licenses and greater automation enabling online license renewal and payments. And in line with our commitment to a green Montserrat, Madam Speaker, we plan to amend the Road Traffic Chapter 7.06 to pave the way for licensing of electric-powered motor vehicles. We have already installed our first charging station. Port development. The Port Development Initiative has begun to move forward over the last 12 months. Through working with our management agent, Stantec, we have completed the Environmental Social Impact Assessment. An ESIA is now a critical first step to the design and construction phases. The preliminary design for the new port and breakwater are in progress, so that tendering for the design and build contract can start in August. Yes, 3 months from now. The project is a breakthrough for the trade and for tourism aspects. It will also stimulate our local economy through the injection of £21 million, or 71 million, over the course of its construction. But more importantly, it will open up entirely new markets and possibilities for access, trade, and tourism, thus for sustainable jobs. The Port Development Project will be nothing short of transformative in creating a stronger Montserrat. Airport development and operations. Our government continues to invest in airport development and operational improvement. This year, we have procured the new control tower cab, which will be raised into position on a concrete tower to be constructed later this year. Concrete shaft, sorry. This, together with newly secured air traffic technology equipment, will provide enhanced capabilities within air traffic control. We have also installed additional wildlife measures to mitigate interruption to aircraft operations and have enhanced the arrivals experience through the installation of air conditioning units within the terminal building. In the coming year, we will undertake a new phase of capital investment through the Airport Improvement Project. This will enable the full resurfacing of our runway, ensuring we meet the highest standards while improving our passenger experience. We will also be liaising with our airline operators to allow them to establish aircraft hangars and aviation fuel facilities, as well as continuing our expansion works on the parking apron. These will provide safer aircraft parking. As I already noted, we have agreed with ASI to provide nighttime medical evacuation flights and similar emergencies. The ferry, Madam Speaker. During the past year, the online ferry booking system was improved to respond to customer requirements, including the reporting capability. We are also developing a ferry fare pricing and concessions policy. We intend to introduce discounted fares early in the second quarter. These special fares will apply to weekend travel, concessions on group travel for bookings made through the recognized tour operator or from any recognized sports, cultural, or religious organization. There will also be other discounts for physically challenged persons. Access and tourism development. We are entering a bold new phase of Montserrat's tourism development program. Montserrat must grow as a viable, sought-after tourism destination. Accordingly, the approved Tourism Master Plan and National Tourism Policy placed the focus on reestablishing tourism as a major driver of the economy. The Master Plan, therefore, calls for investment in product development and marketing. A tourism strategy has been developed, and it was approved by Cabinet in March. It is the roadmap that guides us in implementing the Master Plan. This document was also helpful to us to attract $6.5 million of funding under the 11th European Development Fund, EDF 11. This money will be used to implement short to medium-term projects for the period 2019 through 2022. During the development of the strategy, there were consultations with tourism stakeholders, community organizations, members of the diaspora, tourism staff, and government ministries, all with a view to ensuring that needs, industry gaps, and feasible opportunities were taken into consideration. The focus of the strategy centers on 1. Conservation of the natural environment. 2. Visitor attractions and amenities. 3. Expansion and diversification of the tourism product. 4. Focused on cost-effective destination marketing. And 5. Upgraded quality and service standards. A new vision for tourism has been formulated: sustainable development through quality tourism. And this will be supported by key strategic pillars, namely the customer, the environment, technology, and the people of Montserrat, all built on a solid foundation of quality products and services. The complete set of statistics for 2018 is not yet available. However, the performance has been relatively flat for the period January to June, with moderate increases in stayover visitors, 5,895 passengers compared to 5,501 for the same period in 2017. Excursions, 1,238 visitors versus 1,056 in 2017. Despite an increase in the number of yacht calls for the January to June 2018 period, there was a marked increase of 133% in the numbers of passengers and crew over the same period in 2017. 24 cruise ship calls were recorded for the period November 2018 to February 2019, with an estimated total of 3,273 passengers. Visitor experience for this period, January to June 2018, increased to very important. Visitor expenditure for the period January to June 2018 increased to $16.6 million compared to $15.6 million for the same period in 2017. This year's St. Patrick's Festival demonstrated Montserratian culture and hospitality at its best, with an estimated 4,300 visitor arrivals. This included more than 400 guests from Guadeloupe, 200 from St. Kitts and Nevis, and almost 500 visitors from Antigua and Barbuda, providing a strong regional vibrancy to proceedings. This government is committed to ensuring that Montserrat becomes a go-to destination for visitors within the region and across the globe, not only in March, but during other key events and festivals during the year. We have strengthened our already close ties with one of our nearest neighbors by signing the Memorandum of Understanding with Antigua for eco excursion tours to Montserrat. This has been supported by a successful roadshow in July 2018 and through enhanced media exposure to appeal to the Antiguan visitor market. Last year, the government successfully secured a one-year ferry service from October 2018. And in line with the access strategy, that is being developed. We are already planning for a new procurement to better guarantee long-term ferry services between Antigua and Montserrat. This is supported by recent enhancements to the online ferry booking system, which significantly improves visitor experience and the scheduling capability of the access function. With our tourism strategy now fully approved, supported by our master plan, Madam Speaker, I am pleased to announce the activation of the EU funding stream of $6.5 million for implementation of a range of new tourism projects. Such projects include the development of the Volcano Interpretive Center, improvements to our hiking trails and beach amenities, and development of a new and improved visitor products and marketing. Energy and utilities. Madam Speaker, one of my government's long-term energy goals is to transition from the use of fossil fuels to 100% renewable energy in both electricity and transport sectors. For this, we need to build up capacity to operate such sources of energy. Our newly commissioned 250 kilowatt solar photovoltaic power plant provides about 10% of our peak electricity demand. A new project is now in progress to provide a further 750 kilowatt of capacity with a new solar farm with battery storage. This will provide a total of 1 megawatt of electricity generation, or 40% of peak load demand. This will be funded through EDF Program 11. We are undertaking the LED public lighting replacement project, which will improve street lighting, will increase area coverage, and will cover operational costs to the government of Montserrat. Similarly, we have now put in place Montserrat's first electric vehicle charging station, and we are also in the process of procuring our first electric vehicle with a view to investment in an electric vehicle fleet. We must build our capability to support emerging global trend to electric vehicles. No conversation on renewable energy can overlook the potential for geothermal on Montserrat. Following the successful execution of the first and second active geothermal wells, exploratory drilling for a third injection well was conducted by DFID this year. As is not uncommon, technical issues were experienced during the drilling phase, which unfortunately meant, as DFID claims, that the rig was no longer fit for purpose. The equipment has been demolished, and an inspection has provided guidance on how the third well can be rehabilitated. Notwithstanding, I'm delighted to announce that technical assistance funding has been made available through the £30 million CIPRED program. These funds will be used to work with the private sector towards developing a framework to guide building the geothermal surface plant, which will generate electricity for wells 1 and 2. In terms of our local utilities investments, Madam Speaker, we have ordered a replacement for our new number 3 generator with funding of $835,000 in order to reduce the risk of service outages. This year, further capital investments will enhance the resilience of our electrical distribution network. We will implement phase 1 of the underground ducting for the village of Lookout. MUL also secured funding this year in the amount of 260,000 EC dollars under the BNTF program for the replacement of 1.23 kilometers of water mains in the Salem area. The new piping will use high-density polyethylene pipes. We will replace the water storage tank at Dick Hill and will upgrade the distribution mains at Lookout, improving our water system's resiliency and efficiency. Digital advances. Given our digital age, we must take steps to deliver a 21st century information and technology foundation for Montserrat's economy. One of these, as was already noted, is that our subsea fiber optic project is now funded through the £30 million CIPRED program. Last year, through working together with Terabit Consulting, the government published requests for proposals for the installation, operation, and maintenance of a new subsea fiber link that will connect Montserrat back to the regional and international fiber optic grid. 4 bids were received and are now under formal procurement consideration. We will hopefully move forward with a recommended contractor in the upcoming month. In the following months, we will carry out a subsea survey, obtain fiber optic cable, and the service of a ship. Then the fiber will be laid and connected to our local networks and to regional networks that are already tied in with the global fiber optic grid. The new cable will deliver far greater resilience to our communications networks. It will improve internet access. It will give better broadband services. It will expand our household reach. And most importantly, it will support new broadband-dependent digital sector businesses. That will open up many ICT-related employment and training opportunities. We also expect to derive savings in other sectors from this investment, such as reduced medical referral and diagnostic costs, as we will be able to easily, reliably, and rapidly transfer X-ray and other digital diagnostic data for consultant advice anywhere in the world, or could conduct high-quality, color-accurate teleconference-based medical consultations, etc. Since the internet is global, we can expect to see greater communication with and participation in every respect of Montserrat's development by our diaspora and by our interested friends of Montserrat. Because of the economic potential, this administration is investing in ICT skills and education engagement. For example, for the 7th year running, the government participation in the International Girls in ICT Day, the government participated in the International Girls in ICT Day. This year, more than 20 girls from each primary school were engaged in practical, skills-based sessions to open up avenues for aspiration. We also hosted a 3-week ICT summer camp facilitated by a local ICT enterprise, Fourth Dimension, providing classes in 3D modeling, computer programming, and design to more than 20 of our young people. We've also implemented an ICT after-school program geared towards teaching primary-age students the basics of computer programming to create a knowledge foundation for secondary school and tertiary education. And through our support to the digitization project for Montserrat Customs and Revenue Services, 15 of our young people were engaged as cadets to become skilled in this area. Given the strategic importance of the digital sector, and as has been in the news over the past year, we are partnering with groups of potential investors to build a new digitally based business and open up room for growth. Madam Speaker, education, community, and youth investment. I'm proud to announce that this government has made good on its commitment to improve access to education material for all students in government schools with our new textbook program. With increasing expansion of the curriculum, as well as increasing costs for textbooks, the government has determined that the life chances of our children should not be adversely affected due to no fault of their own. We have therefore taken the bold step to fund all textbooks, removing the burden from parents and students alike. Furthermore, we have continued to invest in our educational environment. Over the last year, we have upgraded the ICT infrastructure at our primary schools, enabling us to bring interactive whiteboards online. At the secondary school level, we have moved forward to ensure that all CX exams can be taken online, supported by power supply backups, an investment that places us at the leading edge of this regional educational approach. This is vital as CXC has moved towards doing its exams online. This year, Montserrat Secondary School celebrates its 80th year as a comprehensive secondary school, as a comprehensive secondary learning institution. Yet in the midst of our celebration, we were forced to decommission 2 of the school buildings at the current Salem site due to discovering structural building faults. Despite this, our teachers have shown grace and fortitude to deliver for the young minds of our future. I want to assure them, along with parents and children, that we are working tirelessly to find and fund solutions for the medium and long term that will provide the greater capacity that our secondary school environment deserves. In the meantime, we have forged ahead, making repairs and upgrades to the physical school plant at all schools, including the MSS. This includes painting, fencing, plumbing, and other critical upgrades to improve the safety and resilience of our school environments for staff and students alike. Community, youth, and sports. We have restructured the Department of Youth Affairs and Sports to become the Department of Community, Youth, and Sports Services. This emphasizes the government's focus on both our youth and our communities, while enabling the department to foster stronger relationships with the youth groups and sports associations. It also gives a home to ecclesiastical affairs for a more holistic approach to the well-being of our communities. Through the efforts of our committed staff, we have successfully delivered on a range of initiatives, including the ESCAPE program, which caters for students to have experiences in the arts, craft, and sports, the School Leavers program, and Youth Recognition program. In sports, the last year has been another significant one for Montserrat. Through investments in the playing fields, we were able to successfully host 3 regional cricket tournaments. I am pleased to say that Montserrat emerged victorious at the Under-17 Leeward Islands tournament, and that we received 4 selections to the Leeward Islands Under-19 team. Our very own Zawandi White has been named to the West Indies Under-19 training squad, and Quinton Boatswain has earned a recall to the Leeward Islands team. Madam Speaker, permit me to recognize the accomplishments of the Montserrat Football Association over the past year. Their recent victories have done Montserrat and themselves proud. It is my hope that this type of transformation translates to the youth and private sector in this budget year and beyond. We have also competed well in other international venues, both in basketball and the Commonwealth Games. And we look forward to even greater achievements in the coming year. This is supported by our continued investment in our youth and sports development program. Over the course of the last fiscal year, 52 apprentices undertook placements across a range of professions, including fisheries, farming, mechanics, teaching, sports, and other trades. The program has also assisted several of its youth to gain direct employment by serving as a job center for the promotion of opportunities. Entrepreneurial development is fundamental to driving future growth and productivity. Through sponsorship of business pitch competition, participants have gone on to receive additional opportunities through regional incubators and development programs. Our support for the Young Entrepreneur Association's hosting of the first Young Entrepreneur Week has energized a community of 75 active members with a range of services and products already in development. And in the piloting of the youth engagement events in farming and food heritage, have revitalized understanding of community identity. I repeat. And the piloting of the 2 youth engagement events in farming and food heritage have revitalized understanding of community identity. In the next year, the National Youth Policy will be revised to address the development and motivation of our young people in an ever-changing global landscape. A new sports and recreation policy will also further support future investment in sports, development, and integration. Agriculture. On our journey to improved food self-sufficiency, over the past year, we have seen the restart of onion production in Montserrat with support to the farming community, as well as increased local production of cabbages, carrots, lettuce, and eggs. We have also constructed a new aquaponics demonstration system, which upon commissioning will hold 80 tilapia and produce hundreds of leafy green vegetable plants in each production batch. The ultimate goal of this pilot is to demonstrate the benefits and capability of such backyard systems for alternative sources of fish, protein, and ready supply of pak choy, spinach, and lettuce. The Department of Agriculture has also established a program to introduce to the public the benefits of the papa fruit with the cultivation of 4 varieties for promotion to customers. Our veterinary division has also identified an artificial insemination program for the improved genetic composition of local ruminants and pigs with the aim to improve livestock productivity. We continue to partner with local, regional, and international bodies to improve our natural resource sector. Our draft Montserrat Ocean Bill is proposed as subsidiary legislation for stakeholder review, and we have made notable progress with the drafting of a new Fisheries and Ocean Governance Act using the model OECS harmonized legislation. Housing, Madam Speaker. Over the last year, some 44 households have received housing support from the government with an overall value of around $2 million. With DFID support, we were able to build 4 new 2-bedroom homes, enabling 4 families to finally have the opportunity to live in decent accommodation after more than 20 years since the volcanic disaster. We have also provided support to improve the living conditions of at least 10 vulnerable households under the Home Improvement Project. Additionally, 2 homes were constructed under the Home Program at a total cost of $580,626, and 3 homes received upgrades to their bathroom facilities. 4 service lots were sold in the Lookout area, with survey work on the way to enable the release of additional lands in the first and second quarter of this year. Our priority concern remains the construction of new social housing units to accommodate the most vulnerable individuals and families on the housing waiting list. This will eradicate the risk posed by temporary and degraded wooden structures that were not constructed for long-term use in an environment within the hurricane belt. The government's proposal for the funding of the construction of more than 30 social housing units under the CIPREG program remains in the final stages of discussion with DFID, and I look forward to providing a substantive update at a future session. Healthcare, social services. We all agree that the health of our people is the foundation of our society's prosperity and economic development. I am sure that the entire Assembly would join me in thanking our healthcare community for their sheer hard work and resilience despite significant funding and staffing challenges. Notwithstanding such challenges, government has invested in the procurement of critical equipment that improves diagnostic capacity and care. This includes a new digital X-ray machine, a laboratory chemistry analyzer, a hematology analyzer, an operating theater ventilation system, a central sterilizer, and a portable ventilator. Funding has also been secured for a new ultrasound machine, and for the first time in our post-volcanic history, for the establishment of a high-density dependency unit for critical ill patients. I think I need to repeat that. Funding has also been secured, and I'm told ordered and on the way, for a new ultrasound machine, and for the first time in our post-volcano history, for the establishment of a high-density unit, high-dependency unit for critically ill patients. For the more than 2 decades, Montserrat has valiantly provided its healthcare services within a 30,000 square foot temporary hospital facility housed in an old school building. I am pleased to announce today that we are finalizing with DFID the functional content of our new fit-for-purpose hospital in line with Pan American Health Organization's Smart Hospital standards. We will now move on to the preliminary design of the new Glendon Hospital and then its construction and commissioning. In terms of primary health care, Madam Speaker, the Ministry's community nursing team has produced excellent coverage of vaccine-preventable childhood diseases, resulting in 0 reported cases. This is noteworthy, as declining vaccination rates have led to regional and international reemergence of such diseases, for example, measles. And, Madam Speaker, we also commend the various healthcare workers in ensuring that systems and protocols are adhered to, ensuring Montserrat's success in revalidation for the elimination of mother-to-child transmission of HIV and syphilis. Again, another remarkable achievement. Turning to secondary care, the team has markedly improved the management of persons living with non-communicable diseases through the development of individualized care and educational plans, together with ensuring the continuous availability of supplies and diagnostic tests. Further work to engage the full range of stakeholders in an individual's treatment has led to a more integrated approach to such patients within the hospital setting. This individualized system has also been rolled out for all residents of Mount Magazine Memorial Home, supported by ongoing staff training. We have continued to invest in our social services for the most vulnerable persons on Montserrat through effective partnerships and targeted programs. These include child and family services, child protective services, adult services, probation and parole, gender affairs, and counseling. We have also invested to improve our physical infrastructure with maintenance work to facilities housing those suffering from mental illness, as well as improvements to the Golden Years Home, Salem Clinic, the Dental Clinic, and Environmental Health Building. Environmental health has also been provided new waste management facilities to support staff health and safety, and progress has been made on improvements for the water treatment plant. We have also invested in people. This includes training in basic life support and advanced cardiac life support for 4 of our nurses. I would also like to thank neighboring stakeholders such as Antigua's Ministry of Health, who assisted with the provision of clinical staff during peak times of the year. As is true all over the world, our healthcare system has been under strain from the increasing costs of and demands for healthcare. Health statistics show that costs for medication, medical referrals, and requests for medical assistance from citizens have been increasing year on year, leading to an unsustainable projection. Therefore, government will develop a sustainable health financing system as part of reforms to create a sustainable healthcare system which ensures that the barriers that prevent citizens of Montserrat from accessing affordable quality health care are eliminated. To do that, we are determining what is the most sustainable package of care for citizens of Montserrat and how it will be financed. Given the complexity of determining a health benefits package and its financing, we are securing the services of a health economist to enable us to achieve this and the resultant steps. We are also in the process of acquiring an electronic health information system for Montserrat, which will lead to a radical step change in how healthcare is delivered and managed. Madam Speaker, fiscal policy measures, concessions and incentives. Madam Speaker, since taking office, we have implemented a mix of domestic policies to improve the lives of our people, especially to improve the lives of the most vulnerable of our population. Despite the challenges with funding, we will continue to put our people first and ensure that every citizen and resident experience an improved quality of life that is sustainable. Over the years, as part of this, we have offered a number of concessions. These programs benefit a wide cross-section of the community and are also intended to promote commercial activities that can create employment and generate revenue for our people. We plan to continue offering many of these during the 2019-2020 period. We seek to do this without jeopardizing our needed revenue collection streams. Some of the main programs that operated during the past year were: 1. Customs duties and consumption tax, alteration of customs duties and consumption tax, Christmas Barrel, Order 2018. The traditional Christmas Barrel program was again approved by our government and operated from 15th November 2018 to 31st January 2019. There were 803 barrels cleared under this program with 584 recipients. We intend again to make this program effective for the period November 15th, 2019 to January 31, 2020. Custom duties and consumption tax Christmas decorations, Exemption Order 2018, SR No. 30 of 2018. We also introduced a program that exempted from the payment of customs duties and consumption tax on the importation of Christmas trees and other Christmas decorations. This program was well received and gave rise to the 2018 Christmas lighting competition. Again, this will be continued in 2019-2020. Disaster Preparedness Exemption Order SR No. 66 of 2017, which expired 31st May 2018, was further extended by the Customs Duties and Consumption Tax Disaster Preparedness Exemption Order SR No. 21 of 2018. We continue the drive to get persons and businesses to protect their properties by making them more resilient and be able to better prepare for storms and to be up and running after the passing of a storm. The extended order continued to grant exemption from customs duties and a consumption tax on the importation of generators, purpose-built hurricane shutters, chainsaws, and wood chippers. The extension expired on 31st December 2018. Returning Montserrat Exemption Order 29 of 2017. This order continues the program of allowing returning Montserratians to import items to build their home free of customs duty and consumption tax. Persons approved under this program can import building and materials and furnishings free of customs duty and consumption tax for the sale or use, for the sole use of constructing and occupying their homes. Key to this is that they prove that they have returned to Montserrat to stay. Customs duties and consumption tax, reduction of customs duties, Order 35 of 2017. This exemption order continues to be in place and is due to expire at the end of July this year. It will be extended for another year. We brought in this order back in 2017 to provide a mechanism to alleviate financial hardship for the persons who wished to upgrade their home appliances, including those who had new-built homes, to assist them in furnishing such homes with furniture and appliances. This order continues to grant exemption from customs duties only in the importation of household furniture and appliances, to include stoves, refrigerators, and televisions. Customs duties and consumption tax Zone C exemption Order 45 of 2017. Last year, we demonstrated its support for the work that was done by the Cork-Hill Reunion Committee, and we stated that we shared their passion and zeal to see the area become reoccupied in the near future. Government of Montserrat continues to stand 100% behind this community initiative. The program, which was introduced to exempt from custom duties and consumption tax on all materials imported for the sole use of building or repairing any structure in Zone C, Cork-Hill, Weekses, Foxes Bay, Richmond Hill, and Delvins, is still in place. Apart from those who have repaired properties, we are now seeing interest from commercial entities wanting to set up operation in the area. Discussions are ongoing, and as things progress, we will have more to report. Custom duties and consumption tax, property developers, home built for sale and rental, exemption order SRNO 15 of 2018. Realizing the shortage of housing on island, particularly during the festival period in 2018, we lowered the qualifying threshold for this program from $300,000 US to $180,000 US, so that more persons can qualify and get into the business of building homes for sale or rental. We continue to encourage local members of the diaspora and property developers to take full advantage of the program while it is in operation. Currently, there are a number of development projects that have been approved under this program with a view to see more homes being brought onto the property market. Lastly, Madam Speaker, custom duties and consumption tax, charitable organization exemption, or the SRNO 19 of 2018. During the last year, we also introduced a program whereby registered charitable organizations that are in the business of providing care to sick, indigent or disabled individuals can import vehicles for that purpose duty-free. Tax administration. Income and corporation tax. At the start of the 2018 financial year, with the assistance of DFID and Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs HMRC, MCRS acquired a tax administration computer system for use in the administration for income and company tax. The system has been put into use and will become fully operational for all income and company tax assessments in 3 years as the MCRS goes through the tedious process of migrating the information for all taxpayers from paper-based files to the new computer system. Property tax. This year, the MCRS will replace the current antiquated and unupgradable property tax database. It will soon publish an invitation to tender for developers to bid to build a new database for use in the administration of property tax and keeping property and valuation records. Madam Speaker, I move now to the Recurrent Revenue and Expenditure 2018-2019. Madam Speaker, overall recurrent revenue for 2018-2019 was budgeted at $132.7 million. However, the outturned recurrent revenue for 2018-2019 was $129.3 million. This represents an increase of around $5 million over government's collection on the previous year, 2017-2018, of $124.2 million. Budget support from the UK remains the highest contributor to our revenues, with a provision of $77.9 million in 2018-2019. Local revenue collection for 2018-2019 was $51.31 million against a budget of $52.68 million, the majority of which came from an increased collection in personal income tax. Consumption tax, which was the second largest revenue item, was $12.4 million, compared to $10.6 million in 2017-2018, an increase of $1.7 million. Our approved estimated expenditure for 2018-2019 was 131.15 million, and the revised figure is 137.77 million. Recurrent expenditure 2019-20. Madam Speaker, I will now present the estimates of recurrent expenditure for the 2019-2020 financial year. As we noted already, the 2019-2020 estimates of revenue and expenditure provide for total expenditure, including debt servicing, of 137.77 million. Budgetary allocations by economic classifications are as follows. Compensation of employees, 50.07 million, or 36.3%. Goods and services, 50.12, or 36.4%. Interest payments, 38 million, or 0.3%. Subsidies, $11.1, or 8.1%. Grants, 6.8 million, or 5%. Social benefits, 15.69 million, or 11.4%. Other expenses, 3.53 million, or 2.6%. There are varying degrees of changes across the various budget economic classifications for 2019-2020 budgets when compared to the 2018-2019 revised budget estimates. Salaries has been increased by 2.71 million, or 7%. Allowances has been increased by 0.69 million, or 9%. Pensions and gratuities reduced by 0.16 million, or 1%. International travel and subsistence reduced by 0.2 million to 1 million, or 23%. Utilities reduced by 0.18 million, or 7%. Furniture, equipment, and resources reduced by 0.42 million, or 12%. Uniform protective clothing reduced by 0.13 million, or 35%. Maintenance services has been increased by 0.86 million, or 10%. Rental of assets reduced by 0.15 million, or 12%. Grants and contributions increased by 0.56 million, or 8%. Social protection reduced by 1.04 million, or 27%. Revenue refunds reduced by 0.22 million, or 15%. Claims against government reduced by 260,000, or 66%. Sundry expenses reduced by 0.15 million, or 24%. Program production and promotion has been increased by 0.53 million, or 56%. And debt servicing interest increased by 0.09 million, or 24%. New spend areas in 2019-2020. Madam Speaker, new spends include Deputy Governor, uniform and protective clothing for prison officers, Ministry of Communication and Works and Labor, introduction of ICT programs, Education, Youth Affairs and Sports, grants and contribution for the merge of youth and sports development program, community organization and sports associations, and introduction of Montserrat Island scholarships, and health and social services, increase in pharmaceutical supplies, and maintenance of units for social housing stock. Recurrent revenue 2019-2020. Madam Speaker, the recurrent revenue estimate for 2019-2020 is EC 137.77 million. This represents a 4.81% increase over the 2018-2019 approved estimates of 131.15 million. The projected increase is based on a combination of improvements in revenue collection and modest economic growth expectations. The estimated revenue from local sources is 58.17 million compared to 52.68 million in 2018-2019. Total local revenues will be generated from two main areas: tax revenue and non-tax revenues, fees, fines, permits, rents, interests, and licenses. Budget support from DFID will contribute 23.18 million, or 79.60 million EC dollars, 23.18 million pounds, or EC 79.6 million EC dollars, or 57% to the recurrent budget. Of this support, 1.57 million pounds, or EC 5.4 million, will go towards access subsidy and 2.4 million or 9.23 million will go towards technical cooperation and capacity building. An exchange rate of EC 3.43 to £1 is used in the conversion. Capital items. The capital expenditure for 2019-2020 is estimated to be 64.4 million EC dollars. The classifications are as follows. Economic infrastructure development of EC 52.23 million, 82.66%. Social infrastructure development of EC 8.2 million, 12.76%. Public administration of 2.56 million, 3.99%. Agriculture of EC 0.08 million, 30.13%. Statistical research and miscellaneous projects of EC 0.29 million, 0.46%. Madam Speaker, the capital budget will be funded with the UK government providing EC 30.19 million or 47%, the European Union support amounting to EC 25.56 million or 40%, UKCIF providing EC 8.3 million, 13%, and the remaining EC 0.29 million, 0.46% from our local budget and other funding partners. Overall budget, recurrent and capital, the total recurrent expenditure for 2019-2020 is budgeted at EC 137.77 million. Capital expenditure for the 2019-2020 is estimated to amount to EC 64.4 million. Therefore, the total budget allocation for the fiscal year 2019-2020 is EC 202.17 million. Allocation by ministries and programs. The recurrent budget reflects a number of policies and programs aimed at moving government towards fiscal sustainability. The recurrent budget is used to facilitate salaries, wages, and operational expenses of the ministries and departments across government. A breakdown of the allocation for the 2019-2020 recurrent budget by ministry is as follows. The Office of the Deputy Governor receives EC 29.11 million, or 21.14% of the overall budget. The Ministry of Finance and Economic Development, EC 21.38 million, or 15.52%. The Ministry of Health and Social Services allocation is 20.39 million, or 14.8%. Office of the Premier, EC 21.78 million, or 15.81%. The Ministry of Communication Works, EC 13.73 million, or 9.97%. The Ministry of Education, Youth and Sports, EC 11.69 million, or 8.48%. The Ministry of Agriculture, Lands, Housing and the Environment is allocated 6.13 million, or 4.45%. The Royal Munster Police Force, EC 7.13, or 5.17%. And a balance of 6.4 million, 4.6% of the budget is allocated among the other services of government, which include legislative and judicial services, as well as the Office of the Auditor General. For ease of reference, the full set of allocations is detailed in the estimates of revenue, and expenditure tabled in this Honorable House. Allocation by functional classification. Madam Speaker, the budget has been classified according to the 10 functions of government developed by Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development to allow for global comparisons. The recurrent budget sources are allocated as follows. General Public Services, 30.5%. Defense, 1.3%. Public Order and Safety, 7.4%. Economic Affairs, 35.7%. Environmental Protection, 0.7%. Housing and Community Amenities, 0.4%. Health, 10.4%. Recreation, Culture and Religion, 2.4%. Education, 6.8%. And Social Protection, 4.4%. Madam Speaker, as I reflect on the past 4.5 years, I am both humbled and encouraged by the sacrifices made and the support received from so many people, institutions, and other governments in advancing the operations of government and Montserrat. I would first like to acknowledge the contribution of Her Majesty's government, and in particular DFID and the FCO, in providing budgetary support and technical assistance in taking forward programs. We want to recognize the contribution of the Governor as we continue to work together in a manner that places the development of Montserrat and its people at the forefront. We want to also recognize the substantial budgetary support received from the European Union. We applauded the efforts of the Commission to facilitate our development needs. We also want to express our sincere appreciation for the support of our other international and regional organizations in providing a sense of stability, enabling greater policy coordination, etc. In this regard, we thank the UNICEF, UNESCO, UN-ECLAC, Carbon War Room, Waite Institute, PAHO, CARICOM, and the OECS Secretariat for their continued support. We applaud the continued work and support of the CDB and CARTACT in the provision of technical assistance and policy advice. Last but more importantly, we want to publicly acknowledge, endorse, and commend the work of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank through its insightful governor and staff in maintaining financial stability and providing fiscal policy support to the OECS region. Very importantly, the public officials at the various ministries and departments have worked beyond the call of duty. We all owe them a huge debt of gratitude. I cannot overemphasize the value of the work done by the small team of public officials at the Ministry of Finance. I wish to express my appreciation to them all. Finally, I would like to thank the PDM team and the public for their support as we try to progress Montserrat's development. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. The journey to today was not without many rough patches in the form of distractions, Brexit, fallout, sometimes tense relations with our funding agents, administrative and political changes, lack of capacity in critical posts, and more. But with the help of Almighty God, we progressed. First, we laid the foundations in 2015-2016 to revive, rebuild, and restore, responding to the call of our destiny to let us arise as a people. We progressed up the ladder, recognizing the season to lead, serve, and move to change in 2016-2017. We progressed in 2017-2018, advancing towards the self-sustaining and inclusive economic growth. And in 2018-2019, in the just concluded financial year, we were advancing in our journey, self-sustainability through strategic investments. These have laid the foundation and a stable platform that today, this administration was able to present a budget of over 200 million EC dollars. This fresh budget marks the point where we stand on the threshold of an era of growth and of progress towards a robust future. Let us now come together as a united nation under God as we continue our journey to fulfill our destiny, a thriving, wholesome, healthy, prosperous, God-blessed Montserrat. The continuous and active participation of all of our people and all our friends will be vital if we are to achieve a better tomorrow. The continuous active participation of all our people and all our friends will be vital if we are to achieve a better tomorrow. Thank you, and may God continue to bless Montserrat. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
I recognize the Honorable Minister of Education, Health, Social Services.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to second the motion for the second reading of the Appropriation Bill 2019-20.
Thank you. Honorable members, it has been moved and seconded that the Appropriation Bill 2019-2020 be read a second time, and that will occur. The debates on that will begin on Monday, the 21st, at 9 o'clock in the morning, upstairs. I recognize the Honorable Premier.
And with that, Madam Speaker, I move a motion for the adjournment of this Honorable House until Monday. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
I recognize the Honorable Minister of Communications, Works and Labour.
Madam Speaker, I rise to second the motion for the adjournment of this Honorable House until Monday, 9 o'clock. Thank you.
I recognize the Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the motion has been moved and seconded, but I would have thought that a consensus would have been arrived at the time for the debate. I noticed that a time has been dictated without any consultation. I thought that normally we move a motion and arrive at the time, but it seems as though there is no consultation. It just imposed that Monday is the time, but we'll accept.
Thank you for that, but I take a little bit of let me address the dictated. This was discussed 2 weeks ago, and my instructions were that the Premier and Leader of the Opposition discuss the dates. And my understanding is that the agreement was that the debates would begin on the 21st of May. Is that not so? Did those conversations not take place? Is that what you're saying, sir?
I don't wish to debate the discussion, but some things are left hanging, and you really don't know what is happening sometimes.
So the opposition was not informed that they was happening on the 21st? Honourable Premier? It has been moved and seconded that the sitting be adjourned until Monday, May 21st at 9 o'clock. All those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The ayes have it. This meeting is adjourned until Monday, May 21st at 9 a.m.